Beautiful Cardiff-by-the-Sea, a surfing town paradise north of San Diego, California. In 1911, the developer's wife convinced him to name the community after her hometown in Cardiff, Wales. Cardiff Elementary is a beautiful school for around 375 kindergarten through third graders, next to the community's small but precious soccer, family, and community park.
We just said we don't want it.
No.
We want a redesign.
We're moving
We want the
on.
park preserved.
An explosive meeting just came to an end.
These guilty-looking school board members are in the middle of running a $22 million bait-and-switch scheme on voters. In November 2016, the board posted a misleading and ultimately fraudulent ballot measure that described the need to fix roofs, plumbing, and electrical systems in Cardiff's already well-maintained elementary school.
Emotions erupted after the chairman of the Cardiff School Board seemingly pushed aside the concerns of nearly all the residents who packed the meeting room regarding the redevelopment plan for Cardiff Elementary.
In what looks like a plan to fool voters, and without notification to or input from residents, the school board secretly approved their bait-and-switch plan to tear down nearly the entire school, kill majestic, long-standing trees, and destroy our blessed park. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They want to pave paradise and put up a bunch of unnecessary buildings. Who's making all that money? This is what voters thought they were approving with Measure GG. The main language in the measure requested funds to repair roofs, plumbing, and electrical systems, and to replace the 2 portable classrooms in the back. This is the school board's Renegade plan that will destroy the current buildings, trees, and park for around the same amount of classroom space.
In order to accommodate these big courtyards, and there are several very big courtyards, they are having to put all of the kindergarten and the daycare center over on our soccer field. It's a big sacrifice to take away the community's open space and the kids' open space and play area. That area is used constantly. All of us who live here, we see it being used all the time. Weekends, after school, and it's important.
The measure presented to voters did not say a single word about the school board's sneaky plan to rebuild the school and spread out those new buildings all over our beautiful park.
I'd love it to be a safer campus. I love the idea of a compound. I don't think it needs to be as spread out. I think the open space is something that we should try to protect, make it a tighter campus.
Urban school districts very easily don't have the space, do all kinds of wonderful imaginative things with kids, and they won't have to take that dome that you see. You don't want to pave paradise to put up a parking lot. You never will get this back if you put those buildings up.
The school board hid this bait and switch from nearly all the voters and residents for months after they approved the planned destruction of George Burkish Field in a meeting with only a handful of residents and without consulting any experts beyond their own hired designers.
Okay, guys.
If one valiant resident hadn't informed some neighbors about these plans with a postcard and a website, the entire town would have awakened one morning to find bulldozers destroying their beloved Burkish Park. Too late for anyone to stop the Renegade School Board's fraudulent bait-and-switch $22 million desecration of our well-intentioned votes.
I'm not going to use words that are painful for anybody or be accusatory, but I was not informed about the changes. I heard about this word of mouth the day before the August 30th meeting. I understand the June meeting had somewhere around 5 or 6 residents there.
But when I saw the proposal last week that took up open space, I just got ticked off. I thought, this is wrong.
I'm an avid reader of everything I see, and I voted for the first bond, and I voted for GG, and quite frankly, and I vote for almost every school bond, I really believe in it, but if I would have seen that the park was going to be taken away, I wouldn't have voted for it.
And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the way that the bond was worded and how, yes, the bond passed, but I think if a lot of the community members understood what was really going to happen, they might have voted against it.
I don't think we need a new all-purpose room. We've got this nice library, we've got the big auditorium. I think it's a waste of taxpayers' money. And the pretense of safety and welcoming appearance of the school, I think that's a bunch of BS. Thank you.
Yeah, I would never have voted to make the changes that are currently designed.
I didn't realize they're doing that. We're taking us off the fields. I think that'd be a bummer. The fields have been a key part here because our kids have been playing soccer and coming down here on the weekends, everything like that. So I would like to see all the fields stay and continue with just the buildings that we have and remodeling those and making those better.
What's been lost in this design is this is not a high school or a college campus. This is a kindergarten third grade campus.
This unnecessary and very sloppy-looking plan would forever destroy a small but precious George Burkitch Park that has been a constantly enjoyed treasure of the community for decades.
In a recent email to parents, the district wrote that the new plan increases student safety and security. And does the new design actually deliver more security? It didn't make sense to me that this more sprawling, spread out campus would be safer than a centralized one with tight-knit buildings. I have here part of a report from the National Institute of Justice titled The Appropriate and Effective Use of Security Technology in U.S. Schools. And it states that the #1 way to make schools safer is to limit the number of buildings. And they warn that schools with open floor plans are more difficult to secure. And I think that makes intuitive sense. The more spread out the buildings are, the harder it is to secure those buildings.
K through 3 do not need a community college campus. Daycare doesn't need to be in an Ocean View property. There is available square footage. You guys need to just go back to the drawing board. The plan, again, I wasn't involved, but it seems like a haphazard layout of buildings. You can condense them. You can make it more safe. Don't be short-sighted. Give me 5 more seconds. Don't be short-sighted and just take the space because you can. I implore you to make it better. Thank you.
I personally voted no on this, on Measure GG, because I knew this would happen. I knew forever things change. When there's money involved, things are going to change.
The well-maintained school underwent a full year of repairs, remodels, and renovations in 2002, with a school bond that local taxpayers will be continuing to pay off for the next 9 years.
We're giving up so much in order to expand the campus, and I think it's because there's a concept problem with the school board, or maybe it's not the school board, maybe it's the people who are advising the school board.
We need an investigative reporter and some lawyers.
I think preserving the space and field would be a good and important example for the children of Cardiff. I do not see the need for a large footprint campus. This is a small school.
I do have a concern about the open space as well. I think the triangular end of the field doesn't make sense for kids, and I have a concern about the soccer fields and the space needed for people to enjoy watching their kids play soccer, and for the practices that happen as well, which is not simply about holding 2 games. We have loads and loads of kids out here practicing soccer all the time.
It is so vital for our kids to be able to have that space to play on.
We talk about this is for the children, and I think what we need for the children is a very compact school, like we have, new buildings, the ones that need to be replaced, and we need to keep our open space. My experience is, and I'm sure everybody's experience here is, once open space is gone, it's gone. It doesn't come back.
The plans that I've seen do not allow for these beautiful Tory pines to be retained.
Mr. Burkitch was my 6th grade teacher. The Tory pines, here's a picture of them being planted because my dad planted them.
When I tried to give the school board president my card to invite someone from the board to give their view in this film, Mark Whitehouse shooed me away like a dog, saying, "Sit down, sit down." I invited the board members to let me interview them so that we could get a comprehensive picture, not just my view, which is very one-sided. I think Mark was very upset and wouldn't take my card.
I heard a lot about getting rid of George Burkage Park. George Burkage Park is not going anywhere. The reconfiguration of the school is happening.
I acknowledge the concerns with the views changing. It's tough when you have to change with the open space. And I know that all of us as a board are really committed to open space.
From my point of view, to be good stewards of taxpayers' money, it made more sense to build, a new school. I'd rather see a new campus, and this is hard.
On that, I also came into this close to tears because not this meeting, I mean the beginning of this whole planning process, because I am so concerned about our little children. They are so defenseless. Plus, the adults who are here.
What does that mean?
But especially our babies. We have to do the best for them.
Overall, though, I think this is a fairly benign plan. It doesn't take too much of the field. It certainly doesn't destroy Burkage Field. That's another upsetting thing, is the literature that's gone out that's mischaracterized this project. It is not destroying Burkage Field.
And I know that this has been a long meeting and you've all taken...
Mark looked like he was sitting in a pub, while ignoring all the well-expressed feedback from residents and even his co-board members, before announcing at the end that he was deciding to go forward with this plan no matter what anyone had to say about it.
The main purpose of this school is to educate children. It's not a park. It's to educate children. It's not a plan that is radical at all, in my view. I think it's a great plan. I support it. But this is a conceptual design. It's a step forward in the direction that we plan to go, in my view.
It's amazing how a few people in so-called power positions can affect many others' tranquility with their decisions. No matter how you spin it, if it isn't an example of bait and switch, it certainly is as close as you can get.
What was written is way different than what is going on right now.
State law requires the district to establish an independent citizens oversight committee. I don't know who's on that committee, but no residents I know have seen them doing a thing to rein in the school board's improper plans or to notify residents. The proceeds from the sale of the bonds are to be used only for the purposes specified.
Now, if you look at the Measure AA that Earl Warren presented, it was much shorter and very, very much to the point. And in Earl Warren, they say that they're going to replace and reconstruct, modernize outdated classrooms, and then make new classrooms. And then they had an entire extensive plan that's been updated as well to the community. So I feel like Earl Warren is a good example of a group that really helped their community understand exactly what they were voting on and exactly what they were getting. Don't feel like that happened here in Cardiff, and I hope that you will reconsider the community's involvement and our concern over a loss of open space.
It seems to me that there's a big difference between, renovate deteriorating plumbing, sewer systems, repair, replace roofs. I don't think, I think what we're doing is we're demolishing the school, certainly all of the classrooms, multi-purpose room and food service, and building everything new. Now, I know that that's what everybody voted on, and I think there's a lot of people in the community who are very upset about the fact that it's a brand new school, and that that's what the school board's decided to do. And I think there's some deeper issues here, and I think the school board might be in trouble for that. But I'm not threatening that. It's not anything I'm interested in doing. I just want you guys to be aware that that's not what this bond issue says.
Who's making all that money? Who's making all that money? Those it always seem to go money that you don't know what you got till it's money. They want to pave paradise, put up a bunch of unnecessary buildings. We're just a small community, simple but lovely folks.
They should just keep what they have right now, because that's like the Cardiff vibe. Like the building right now is the Cardiff vibe.
Please join us, help us, let the Cardiff School Board know they cannot pave paradise to put up a bunch of unnecessary buildings.